Okay. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Deepak from Metal Camp. In this webinar, my colleague Mr. Nirbal will be participating. Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for coming and showing your interest in webinar. I'm glad to announce that in this webinar, we'll be showing our CAM features. So let's see how it works. So how to interact with the presenter? So you can interact with the chat, and second is from offline. So you can question any of the things. If you have any doubt, you can ask us with the offline through mails, and you can answer this questionnaire after this webinar. You will get a form, so you can answer this thing, and this section will be recorded, so you'll be getting the recordings after this session. So what going to see today? So in the CAM environment and CAM wire. So what we are going to achieve after this webinar in wire. So general terms of CAD wire and a CAM environment and new machines available, selection methods, tech points, wizards, multi-origin, part transformation, and last feature recognition. So what are the things we are going to present? So we have improvised in user technique interface. So user can, if the user is using like a touch screen method, so just clicking on that, he can select the function basis. So it will be very useful for the user. And the next is a scroll function in the CAM tree. So user doesn't need to scroll from the top to bottom by scroller bar. Just using the mouse scroll button, he can scroll the features. So coming to Viridium, so we'll be seeing new machines improvement on control options and the new wizard option with the help. And the new machines, what are the new machines which has been updated in our platform. So you can see Mitsubishi, Aji, Sodic, Ona's AV machines like 60, 80, 130, and GFMS Cut P Pro machine, and Makino U6 and Fanuc Alpha series machines.
Okay, so hello, I am Nirmal Pinto from Metal Cam Technology, application engineer for Metal Cam Technology. So today I'll be walking you through the CAM session for FikusST 20. So here we can see the first thing is selection method. We all know about the selection method. We have been using in our past about the selections, different kinds of selection method, but there are some new features which have been added in open profiles with entry motions, and there are what do you say, coreless machining for 4x parts, and also for also multi-entry motions for multi-entry jobs. So let's see one by one about how we can work with open profiles. So this is about the open profiles with the entry motions. So here what we are doing is we have an option when we go to the CAM, and we can choose the machine from the machine list. Here I am choosing Makino, and I'll go for the XY. In XY option, we have open cursor approximate retribution. This is an important feature. When we activate it and select the entire profile, the end points of the profile will be considered as the wire entry and exit point for the open profile, thereby reducing the usage of reducing the proceeding of next step, which is for the entry motions. In extra selection itself, we can give that. So next we are seeing about the 4x profiles. So in this 4x profiles, we'll see how we can do the coreless machining for 4x profiles. Here I'm selecting the XY and the UV profile, and once it is activated, we can see that the synchro, it is not synchronized properly. There is a synchro error. Okay, we can correct the synchro error by going to synchronization and delete all the synchro lines like this. Okay, the message will come, and when we delete it, the nodes will be there. We can go for adding the synchro lines, and manually we can add the endpoints of these synchro lines by joining the two nodes from UV and XY profile. Thereby, for picking the center of the arc, we go for the center button, middle of the arc, and once the synchron lines are been specified, we can we can make it more smooth by increasing the parma lines. And once everything is fine, we can just tick it. So you can see now the synchro is correct, and now we can give the entry motions for synchro line by going into the coreless machining process and creating the entry motion. The process is same as what we do for the 2x, but here the profile is 4x. So let's see. Further, after giving the entry motion, we can apply the wizard process for it. Here we are giving the Mitsubishi wizard, and we can see that it has taken as pocket as main cut, and all the process we have given. Once all the process is given and wizard is applied, now okay, yeah. So when it is calculated, it will start calculating. So after it is calculated, you can see that the coreless process is applied for the 4x profile also. When we go for, see, you can see when you zoom and see, there is a coreless option which is applied for that. When we go for the stock simulation, we can clearly see how the process is carried out. Coreless process for 4x profiles are carried out. So since the profile is little big, maybe we can fast forward it. Here I will fast forward it in some time. Okay, we can increase the speed button. Still, you can see that it is still taking the coreless machining. I will select the fast forward button from the simulation bar, simulation play bar, which is this. And when I click on the fast forward button, I can see the entire process is being calculated, and the resultant uh, piece is left behind. So this is how we can do a 4x pocketing for um, 4x for pocketing. And this is in the bottom view and top view. So similarly, we have another option for for multi-entry points. So here in this exercise, we are going to give a multi-entry for this kind of profile. Here, extra selection. Here we have multi-entry motion. Once you select that option and we give the multi-entry, is the endpoints are considered as multi-entry, and that wizard is going to apply for both the multi-entry process. So here we are giving the technology and number of cut, and further we will go for the remnant here, and we give the remnant value, and we complete the wizard process. So wizard process is done, and then we can apply the order by phase here by selecting the toolpath. Order by phase is applied so that the remnant will be cut at the last. Now we can see how the simulation takes place. When you go for the simulation, we can see that how multi-entry works. So here is the first cut, which is going for the first half, and the finishing cut is going for the first half. After the finishing process, the second profile is being cut, The second half is being cut, leaving the remnant areas. So since you have applied the auto by phase, the remnant will be parted off at the end. Now, when we play, the remnant is cut. So this is how we can use multi-entry points for getting any profiles.
Okay, so this is a new machine, Aji Charmil's Cut P Pro machine. So this is the very new machine which use control unique. So let's see how we can do with this machine. So I have a GFMS logo. So let's program for this. So in CAM Biradium toolpath, we are going to see Cut P Pro machines. So when we select that, we'll be going for the XY selection. By window selecting, we are selecting an entire GFMS logo, and with auto entry motion I'm selecting. So small entry motion has been created. Let's go for wizard. So when we go for wizard, we can see that we have only a basic database, so which contains almost all the parameters, and we have cut wire brass 900 and going for 0.25 wire height with the technology and the angle, and you can select operator and a text selection and flushing condition and target quality, that's RA value, and also from the user, if it is there they can select, or you can go for the machine. Let's select RA 0.2 and this cut specification, corner parameters, so strategies, what are the strategies you needed, and confirm and calculate. When you calculate the process, you are seeing the one single process in the canvas. When you post processor rate, so you can see we have J Johnson file. So the program will be shared like this to the machine. So from this program, they need to generate the ISO code in the machine. That is from the Uniqua controller. So next option we have is nozzle position. When we have nozzle uh, in the bottom face, we have to increment the nozzle height. So in the preference tab in the cam iridium, we have upper nozzle and lower nozzle limit. So you can add the value. So you can see in the better view in the simulation part, and also clear cut you can able to see it. So next is construction option. This is newly introduced, the icon reset button. So when you have created the construction option, when you don't want that construction option, just come to reset, and if you click the reset, the original geometry will be comes to that. So let's see how it was. So I have DXF file here. I'm going for the CAM environment. I'm selecting the machine. So I'm selecting the one complete contour with XY selection. So now the contour has been created. Let's go for the construction method. So now we have angle 0. Let's change it to angle 5. So I'm changing all the angles to 5. So now I'm making a 0, then again I'll enter the 5 value. So only for the curvature I'm taking the angle 5 degree on the side, 0 degree I'm selecting. So like this I'm selecting to entire profile. So now okay, I have done it. So you can see that I have taper and a flat both, you can see. If we don't want this kind of geometry, just resetting on the geometry, it removes entire construction outline. So this is how you can see how we can do it.
Okay, so let us now see about the remnant cut process, which is a new process which is being introduced in the wizard. In this picture, you can see that there is this create process which is been added at the remnant location of the wizard. So the create process usually what is the functionality of it is whether to retain the remnant cut or whether to remove the remnant cut. this option is given. So let's see in this exercise how we can utilize this option. So this is the 4x profile, and we have applied the wizard process to it. So once the wizard is open, let's yeah. So in process wizard, we will give the number of values, number of cuts to be cut, and the process is same until we go to the remnant. In remnant, we can give the remnant value. Once we give the remnant value, we can see the cut process is there. We can tick mark or we can add. You can see the remnant being added or remnant being removed from the list. So this is the one feature what is being added in the wizard process to ease the process of CAM processing. So this is how we can use it. The other option, the most important option, most of us were looking for this option from the previous versions, is we have an option to enable or disable any of the process, such as roughing or skimming or remnant process or anything. We can disable or enable it, retaining the other processes. For example, if we there may be possibilities that roughing process has already been done and you need to work only with skimming process. So you people have been asking me for such kind of option. So now we have introduced it. So here we are giving the process, everything is same. And when you go into the wizard process, the next process, yes. So here you can see towards the right, there is this roughing process which we can enable or disable. In case we do not want to run the roughing process, we only want to run the skimming process. So we can enable or disable. You can see it has been disabled. So now only the finishing processes will start working. Like this, you can disable any one of the process or all the processes, and accordingly only those processes will be calculated, thereby minimizing our choice of working. So you can see here that this has been introduced. So we can make use of enable or disable option in wizard to enable any process or disable any of the processes. So when we calculate it, we can see only those processes has been calculated. So next is the introduction of M and H value in Mitsubishi MV series wizard process parameters. These processes are similar to that what you see on the machine controller. The M codes can be generated directly from the wizard process itself. So next one, what we will see is, this is one of the important feature what we have added, is multi-origin. Multi-origin in the sense user has an option to work more than one part at a time. For example, you can see in this sketch, in this video or the exercise, that there is a machine bed over here with 3 jobs at 3 different parts. So we are going to apply the multi-origin for different parts with different UCS. For example, for first UCS, I'm going to select, for part 1, I'm going to select this particular parts, and I have given wire enter mark. And in details, I have an option to select the offset mode as offset 1, and I am assigning the part 1 UCS to it. So similarly, I will take another geometry. I can apply the wizard process for that. I'll apply the wizard process, and all the parameters I'll apply to it. So it has been calculated. Now I can apply, I can take the next geometry and I'll apply XY process for part 2. So part 2 is being selected, and similarly I can give the second offset value in details as origin 2. Okay, and I will assign part 2 to it. Yes, this way I have assigned two different UCS and two different offsets for these geometries, and I'll apply the technology cutting parameters to this geometry also. Okay, and finally I'm going to apply part 3 to the third geo. So I am using the same process, box selection and selection process, and I will give tick mark, and I'll assign offset 3 like G54, 55 or 56. So this will be assigned similarly, like work offset has been assigned for part 3, and I'll proceed with the wizard process. So by doing this, what we can achieve is more than one in more than one UCS offsets, we can work the program for we can work with these programs with more than one reference points by distributing the offsets. So we have this show post processor options where we will give the G54 location for origin 1, 55 and 56. Work offsets have been given, and when we tick mark it, we can see it has calculated, and in the calculation you can see it has taken as G54 parameter, G55 and G56. So accordingly it will finish 3 different jobs at a time. We can do it. So this is one of the important and beneficial features what we have introduced in FikusST 20, and users can make use of these features for quick and easy process of the jobs. So next thing what we will see is part transformation. We are aware of array in CAD, polar array, rectangular array. But what if we have already done a program and we want to make a copies of the program? So we can use an option called as transformation here. So we'll see in this exercise how we can do the part transformation. Here I have this small example where I will select the machine and XY I am applying to it. Okay, the process is same as what we regularly do, but the actual thing for part transformation takes place after we finish the CAM process. So let's wait until we complete this process. Now we'll give the parameters. Okay, so all parameters have been assigned, and you can see it has calculated now. So the CAM process is finished for this particular job. Now we want to do the array for this. We want to do part transformation. We can go for the transformation. Here we have several ways of transforming the object, either by displacement or by polar array or by mirror or rectangular array or by UCS. We can choose now the polar array. I'll just show you an example with polar array. Number of rows. I can define the number of rows. You can see in the preview, the number of rows has been assigned, number of columns, yes, and the row distance I will give, okay. And now the column distance I can give. Once I define this, I need to add it. I need to add it into the transformation table. After adding it, it is applied. Then similar, we can go for tick mark to accept it. Now you can see all the things have been applied, and you can see that transformation symbol has been applied to the geometry. So indicating that this job has been part transformed. So same parameter has been applied to multiple jobs. This way, a user can easily and do multiple jobs at the same time. Multiple jobs you can program. You would not program all this individually using multi-geometry or individual geometry. You not do anything. You just need to do a program for one particular job and transform it. So this will be more economic and more beneficial for the user in his day-to-day work. So next one, what we can see is the color wizard. Let's see about how we can use the color wizard options to derive land and taper. The same example I'm using for the color wizard. Now I'll select the Fanuc machine. Yes, Fanuc robocard, and then I'll select XY process. The process is same. After defining XY process, now we used to go for the wizard, but now we should choose color wizard because we are applying a color to it. No need to go into wizard. We can go into color wizard. Once you go into the color wizard, a list of parameters have been assigned where a user can choose the type of color land and taper he requires. So from the list above, and now let us see about the color up, um, color down wizard. So here we are giving the H1 value, which is the land value, and we are giving H2 value, which is the total job value. And bottom of the part is in case the job has been loaded on the fixture, we need to give the fixture height. So here we'll give 0 and we are giving the taper angle. After giving the taper angle, we can select the standard process, and there are ISO process also. We can also apply it for the coreless machining. So here we have an option either to choose by wizard or color wizard by quickwire. We have taken wizard and the process, which one to start first, land or taper. Now we are going to take taper first. And when we click mark, the wizard for taper has been applied. You can see a green mark on taper has been applied. So indicating that it is for the taper, and we'll give the parameters for taper. After defining the parameters, we'll take the number of cuts. Since it's a taper, it's a relief angle, so we'll just give it as a single cut, and we'll proceed further. And now the taper has been done. Now you can see the land is highlighted. So now the parameter, whatever we are going to give, is for the land. Now we will give more precise parameters, such as 3 passes. Okay, we have taken 3 pass and we have applied it to the land process. Now the land and taper has been defined, and you can see it has been offsetted from bottom because we have given the bottom of the part. Now when we see the simulation, you can see here is taking the taper cut. Top it is small and bottom it is large, so it is a taper cut. So next one, when you proceed further, now it is in the first cut for the land, and the next one, the second cut. You can see the offset has been changed, so it is taking the cut, and this is the third one. So this way the user can make use of the land and taper option, color wizard option, what is available in Fikus. So you can see the top view. This is the top view. You can see the land, and from bottom view you can see the taper angle. So this is how you can make use of the color wizard in Fikus ST20 to derive the land and taper jobs.
So next is how we can call help file from the wizard. By clicking on question mark, so it directly leads to the wizard process. So you can see in the screen that there is a one file from wizard which is triggering wizard from Makino. Then if we click on the wizard question help tab, so it will directly leads to the help tab with the Makino series of wizard. Same way for all the machines, we have the same base technology, so you can have a check with the help also. So next is feature recognition by diameter. So we have a new filters of cylinders to detect all the diameter lesser than and choose the values. So here I have a part. So let's go for CAM process. Then by selecting the process with the feature recognition, I'm confirming it. So we have now feature recognition. So Right now I'm selecting 80 diameter. So here I'm selecting the 80 and selecting the required cut. If we confirm the value, just I'm selecting the cavity and selecting all. So when we select the entire process, so you can see till the 80 diameter the feature has been selected. So if you select more than that, it will be detected as the user selects. So next is how to generate report for the user. So what are the process you have done it. So these kind of things you need a report. So you can generate directly report from Ficus. So right now I'm having a cam feature which is ready. So I need to report create a report for this. So now I'm selecting the option which I need for the report. So after confirming, the report will be enabled. So you need to give the customer name, part name, and operation needs to be done, and the drawing number and the material which has been used uh, to create this part. And you need to define the details which will be enabled in the report. So I'm just giving the operator name and the drawing name. So and next we'll go for the material. So here I'm selecting a steel. So this is a date which you will be creating a report. So when you confirm, it will open in the Explorer tab. So you can see whatever the details you have filled in the window, it will be appeared in this sheet also. So here I have 10 numbers. So geo value and cut whatever you have used, the technology, everything will be displayed in this report. So this is how you can see entire the job which you have created, and whatever the tool which has been used here, and the technologies and the time. So this is how you can create the reports. So next is Ficus Cloud. So this is our application where you can have the latest database versions inside it. So we have all machines database, like you can see in the screen: Electronica, Hightech, Makino, GF, Mitsubishi, Ona, Maxi, SPM, Sodic, Hitachi, Fanuc, Acra, JMac, Axpark, Joimer, Exitech, and Aji Architects, all machines, whatever the new database you need to install as per your license. So you can go for Ficus Cloud and select the database, and you can work on it. So this is the unique, this is a good product for everyone. They can use directly from their cloud system. So any question and answer, so you'll be enabled in your screen now, the chat window, so you can chat. So if you have any doubts, you can directly ask now. So okay, so next upcoming webinar will be for a technical webinar, and it will be on coming month. So you will be showing the advanced feature of cam. So you can join our channel, and you can click on the subscribe and hit a bell icon, so you can get a notification of next coming webinar and new uploaded videos and everything. So this is our thing, and if you have any doubts and everything, you can drop a message to our support at the rate of metalcam.com. And thank you for your attention. For any request, you can directly contact Ficus support at the rate of metalcam.com. And for sales queries, you can directly drop a mail, sales at the rate of metalcam.com. Now you will be getting a survey after this webinar. So please fill the survey, and you can send it to us. And thank you for coming. Have a nice